and welcome back, my fairies. I'm Matsurific, and we are back with more Miraculous Tales of Ladybug and Chat Noir. Finally, this is the London special, which means that it is the last piece of content we get for the Hawkmoth arc for seasons 1 through 5. And this is going to be our last round with these older seasons 1 through 5 designs, because after this will be season 6 and we get new designs and everything. And I have heard that there is actually supposed to be a reason behind Adrian having the same outfit in season 6 as he has in previous seasons. It's supposed to be representation of him not being able to move on from Gabriel. So, still got my fingers crossed that we'll be able to get some storyline where he's finally able to move on and get a new outfit. Preferably one made by Marinette, if you ask me. I really hope that it is something she makes for him, because that would be so sweet! For those of you who are new here, first of all, welcome to my little magical corner. We do a lot of fun stuff on this channel, including talking about Miraculous Ladybug in a more positive but still critical light. What I mean by that is I am positive about this show. I will point out its good points, but I am also critical and will point out the things that need to be criticized. So if you are somebody who has been getting frustrated by all the negativity around the fandom, this is a safe place for you. And if you are somebody who has been getting disillusioned because of all the negativity, you are welcome to stick around here and see a more positive take on the show and its characters. I do not hate Marinette, even though I did make a video about her soccer tendencies. That was a critical review looking at her and how she is acting. But I do not hate Marinette, I just want to be clear. I do like the vast majority of the characters in this show. I even like Chloe and Lila. I think they're interesting. But I also am aware that there are a lot of faults in the show, and also behind the scenes, that can cause issues. But those people that cause those issues are also not the only ones who work on the show. So, apologies for those of you who are new and who are not new and know this about me already, but it has been a hot minute since we've gotten anything Miraculous related. Also, for those of you who tend to watch more of my reviews and videos than hopping into my live streams, you might notice that my audio sounds a bit different right now. The headset that I was using unfortunately broke, and funds have been really tight lately, especially since my other job, which is where I actually make money to pay the bills, relies on people booking hotel rooms. And it's hard to sell a hotel room when there are natural disasters happening every month for the past 3 months, and I can barely survive right now. So with that being said, I hope you enjoy the artwork that you see over here to the side. For those of you who are new, I like to try and get around copyright issues by simply having a recording of my drawings. I hope you enjoy this. This is my gender bent version of Adriana, with the Snake Miraculous, so aka Aspic, aka Nagin. Future Matsu here. You're probably wondering why you're not actually seeing Adriana, aka Nagin here, but when I recorded this, I actually kind of forgot that I had another piece planned for this, so I do apologize for the misinformation there. This piece is actually meant to be a drawing of one of the dolls that we got. It's a Bug Noir and Lady Noir doll that's supposed to switch back and forth between the dresses. I loved the dresses, they were so pretty that I just had to draw them, and I even made a Ladybug version as well. So that's what you're actually seeing, and I apologize for that. Anyways, moving on. So yeah, at this point in the video, I have not seen the episode yet. So that's also how we do things here. I like to talk about what we know about the episode first before going into it, and then I will go watch the episode. Unfortunately, I cannot give my live reactions because of, again, copyright, but I will come in immediately after watching the special and give you guys my raw thoughts about the special. So make sure you stay tuned. I'm gonna go watch the special right now, in fact. Oh, wait, no. Oh my goodness, I just said we have to go talk about what we already know about the episode. Okay. So, sorry, it has been a while. It has been a while. Oh my gosh, it's been so long. I hope you like the new expressions with the avatar. It's been so long. It's been so long since we've gotten new content for Miraculous Ladybug. I know I still haven't reviewed Action. I'm honestly not sure if I will at this point. I haven't even seen it yet. But it's like half canon. It's technically not canon, but it's also canon unless something else in the show debunks it. But like it takes place in the middle of the series. It doesn't really fit. Anyways, but yeah, this is the last piece of season 5. So, and what I mean by that is that this takes place near the end of season 5, but not technically after it. This takes place during the gap between when Gabriel makes his wish and Marinette reclaims the Miraculous, and then the time skip, like I think it was like a few months time skip after the election and Miss Bustier becomes Mayor Bustier. So this takes place immediately afterwards. So Marinette literally just witnessed Gabriel make the wish and say, "Marinette, please ensure Adrian remembers me for the father I tried to be," putting pressure on a 14-year-old girl to not make her boyfriend more miserable than he's already going to be after finding out that his father died. Yeah. That's already a lot on the poor guy, after everything that he's already been through. Keep in mind, this is coming off of the season 5 special, or the season 5 finale, where Adrian was forced away from everybody he cared about, including Marinette, including Nino, including Ladybug, because he doesn't know they're separate people, and put in isolation. Complete and total isolation. The only company he has being Plague, because Gabriel doesn't know about Plague. And also having these nightmares, his worst fears, playing in his mind over and over and over again. That is psychological torture. The boy's sanity is frail enough without finding out that his father is also monarch. So honestly, I don't blame Marinette for not wanting to put that on top of everything else he's going through. The boy will break. I love drama. Don't get me wrong. I love drama. I really want there to be a mid-season, late season 6 blow up where Adrian realizes and finds out the truth and gets mad at Ladybug. I want that very badly. But come on, please. My son is suffering as much as he is. He's suffering enough. Don't make his suffering worse, please. But anyways, we know that Marinette's going to transform back into Bug Noir to go to London, save Adrian and Kagami. Adrian is going to cry. We have seen it in the trailer. I don't want my son to be sad. Anyways, well, we know that, and we know that somebody is going to find out her identity. and we know that Bonix is going to be here from the posters, and we also know that Ladybug is going to become Chronobug, most likely a combination of the Ladybug and the Rabbit Miraculous. So, admittedly, the colors are kind of confusing. I do like that that the colors are reminiscent of the yellow ladybug, because most ladybugs you think of are red, but there are also yellow ladybugs as well in nature. So I do kind of like the reference to the Chronobug design, which I have seen on the poster. But other than that, I have been doing everything that I can to avoid spoilers. Of course, watch the trailer. I have to watch the trailer. You guys saw me reacting to the trailer. But I've been doing my best to avoid other spoilers, so I am going into this as blind as I could possibly be, while still providing Miraculous Ladybug content. Okay, now that that is out of the way, I can finally get into the review, so I'm going to go watch the episode, and I will be back with you guys in a little bit. And that little bit is done, and my goodness, you guys. So, first off, let me just say that I did cry. I cried a number of times, especially around Adrian. I can't help it. My son was sad. And also, Marinette was sad. And I understood it. So, first off, I just want to say I was right. I made a number of videos after season 5 came out, 3 specifically, 2 of which focused on what Gabriel's wish was, and also why it was so important for Adrian to not know that his father was Monarch, and why this is the best case scenario that we could have gotten for the finale. So, just to go through things that happened. So first off, you know, we have this a little bit at the beginning here, and I will admit, when I first saw this design, like, I know that it's Cerise. When I first saw her design, my brain was like, wait a minute, blonde hair, blue in a bun, blue eyes, that can't be Emily, because Emily has green eyes. Is that Gabriella? Did they actually copy my my gender bent universe? No, it's just Cerise. It's Cerise. I guess she's wearing another wig. Though the fact that the hair is coming out of the scalp makes me think that maybe this is her actual hair, and not like the short. And maybe the short hair was also a wig. Not sure where she hid the rest of her hair, because short hair wigs can be kind of difficult when you're, well, I guess, you know, bald caps. So, like, I say this as a cosplayer who has long hair and cosplays as a few different characters with short hair. Bald caps are a thing, but it is a lot easier to have a wig that's a short hair wig than it is to have a wig that is, you know, hair is up and in a bun, without there having to be like some kind of way to cover up the seam. That can be really difficult, and obviously, you know, 3D modeling is how it is, so it would probably be easier to model the hair like normal. But if this is her actual hair, that would make a lot of sense. But also, I think that pretty much, if this is her actual hair and eye color, that pretty much debunks the fan theory that she's actually Manon from the future. I never believed in that theory, to be honest. But anyways, she comes back through the portal and with a notebook. Nuru is begging her not to read the notebook, that she could just, you know, not read it and forget what happened and let everything be good. But obviously, you know, that's not how that's going to work. She just sort of, you know, silences poor Nuru. Oh, Poor Nuru. Nuru always gets the worst holders. But, so yeah, she figures out, through her travels, she figured out that Marinette was Ladybug. So she comes back, puts the notebook down, de-transforms, and you do see there is so much foreshadowing in this. Like, it's honestly, like, really amazing. She de-transforms, and you see these 3 boxes in front of her with objects in them. And she de-transforms. She releases another Akuma, which goes into another item, and then transforms again before traveling through time. And we see that she leaves it behind as well, which actually comes in play later. And my gosh, the foreshadowing in this was incredible. So this is the way that they're telling the story. I forget exactly what this trope is called, but it's basically a form of storytelling where you have a mystery at the very beginning of the story, and then the rest of the story is told through a mixture of flashbacks and also present day reminiscing to try and piece together all of the clues to figure out what exactly happened so you can solve the mystery and solve the problem. So after we get the initial scene with Cerise, we get a scene of, oh my gosh, I love this scene. So at first it's like just present day Alex Bunnix with future Bunnix, and then we see a third Bunnix who's like 70 years old. It's like, what? We got 70-year-old, oh my goodness, 70-year-old Bunnix. And she still looks really good. I mean, again, 3D models and everything, but there is not a wrinkle to be seen on her face. Like, the only reason that she looks somewhat old is that the the color in her hair is faded, and she has some white streaks. So that's supposed to tell you that, she's older. Would have been nice to see a few more wrinkles on her, but I get it. They want to keep they want to make her, at least appealing to younger audiences who, but like we do see a little bit of wrinklage on her nose, but not really a whole lot there. She still looks really good for 70. I think we all kind of wish we could look that good at 70. But then future Bunnix and Granny Bunnix start to disappear, and they tell present Bunnix that that they know that she's gonna do that, gonna be able to do this because they also did it. And like more wibbly wobbly timey wimey stuff. So from now on, I'll just call her I'll just call her Bunnix to be simpler. But know that Bunnix means present Bunnix, and then I'll differentiate future Bunnix and Granny Bunnix. But she does a quick recap, which I think is actually really good for this. Normally, flashback episodes are like really annoying and stuff, but I do think that with it having been such a long time, not just since we got the last episodes of season 5, but also Miraculous is 10 years old. They even point that out. They do a fourth wall joke where they're like, man, it feels like we've been doing this for 10 years. And it's like, I see what you're doing there. That was good. I liked that. But yeah, it has been 10 years since season 1 first came out. So it's a good thing to go ahead and do this recap. And also for newer viewers as well, because they are getting ready to start a brand new arc. So it is kind of a good thing to go ahead and go back and look through, remind the audience of how far we've come, everything that we've been through. So we get a quick recap, somewhat of the show, mainly focusing on origins, and then we get a short recap of season 5 and the finale, just of Bunnix going through and cycling through everything. Like, okay, what's the same? Here's what happened. This looks like it's the same. This looks like it's the same. This looks like it's the same. I think that's a really clever way of doing a flashback. Normally, you just get a character that sits there remembering everything, but here we get to actually see Bunnix scrolling through, kind of like she's going through clips on YouTube. Like, okay, yeah, this happened, then this happened, then this happened. Okay, that's what's supposed to happen. And she's just looking for what exactly changed. And she can't really find anything noteworthy until she notices a version of Marinette in her pajamas on her balcony, watching as a wish is being made. But it takes her a while to get there. The portals are constantly disappearing because the future is being erased. So I have to wonder what Cerise's wish was, because whatever her wish was completely broke the future. And we at the very least we know that a future would still exist, because we know from Chaplon that even though future Bunnix was disappearing, there was still a future timeline that was happening, and that's where Chaplon existed. But they had to erase that timeline in order to keep the present timeline intact. But I still have to wonder, what exactly was Cerise's wish? And I'm still, honestly, I'm not upset that we don't learn the wish, because that is something for us to learn in this new arc, which makes sense. You know, we have to have some stuff to happen in season 6 that's like, okay, what is her end game? You know, don't spoil all of season 6, please. So I'm glad to not know what Cerise's wish is, but I still want to know. I don't want to know right now, but I still want to know what her wish is going to be. So I really like the intrigue there of, like, you know, what's the wish gonna be? They don't ask that question, but like going back and thinking about it, I do kind of want to know what her wish is going to be. So anyways, she manages to find the one timeline that she has access to, which is the timeline where the wish was being made. It's kind of hard to recap, because like you have Bunnix's time, how she's perceiving time right now, and then how Marinette is perceiving time. I'll try to go in canonical order, but it is kind of hard, because for Bunnix, she immediately reaches through the portal and grabs the Marinette that's about to be erased because Cerise is making a wish. But as far as the special goes, we then cut to Bug Noir, who is flying to London, and we have skipped a lot of stuff between when Gabriel made the wish and this point where she's flying to London, but we eventually get that stuff in the special. It's so good. So this basically, I believe this part actually, I'm basically playing the special along as I talk, so that I can remind myself of what exactly happened. So Bug Noir goes to London, and she frees Kagami. And actually, now that I'm thinking about it, sorry to interrupt myself, but like I kind of want to do another video that breaks down what happens, like the continuity of what happens from Marinette's point of view, and then from Bunnix and Lady Noir's, Lady Noir, Bunnix and Chronobug's point of view, but that'll be another video. So anyways, it's so hard to go back and forth between all these names. Bug Noir is remembering what happened, while Kagami is watching a news broadcast. I want to say article. No, she's not reading anything. Kagami is watching the news broadcast, which is adding additional recap for us. So you can hear Nadia talking about, you know, the official statements for what happened, as well as Marinette remembering everything. I won't go too much into that because that's all season finale stuff. But she goes into the room and she sees Kagami is watching the news, and they acknowledge the fact that Kagami knows that she's Marinette. Marinette knows that Kagami knows, and they talk about they also know that Gabriel was Monarch, and that Kagami's mother was his accomplice, which I do kind of like. That's another bit of foreshadowing right there into another scene, which is later on. But the fact that she now knows that Kagami's mom was Gabriel's accomplice, but she never had a chance to learn that in the special. So another little hint of foreshadowing of the flashbacks are going to get later. But they talk about how Kagami's life would become significantly harder if Gabriel and Tomoe's identities were truly revealed. And I wasn't even thinking about Kagami. Like, I completely forgot that this would also affect Kagami too. All of us. I don't think I've seen anybody in the fandom talking about how it affects Kagami. But, like, it does. It really does affect Kagami. Because, yes, Adrian's father was Monarch. But Kagami's mother helped him. She helped him and allowed him to be able to do all of this stuff. So, yeah, that was a big thing. And, oh my goodness. Sorry, there's a lot going on. But anyways, they talk. She manages to convince Kagami that it would be for the better if they hide the truth. Don't let people know that, what actually happened. Kagami is like, you're making some decisions for love. And it's like, it's not for me, it's for Adrian. And it's like, thank you. His life is already going to be miserable enough knowing that his father died. After all this, like, the poor boy is going through enough. Let him get over the shock of his father being dead first, before we toss him into even more turmoil over the fact that his father was Monarch and did all of this intentionally. But the lie that they tell is that Monarch forced Gabriel and Kagami to work for him to create the alliance rings, and that at the end of the day, Monarch was threatening Adrian and Kagami to force them to work for him, even though they didn't want to actually do it. So they sent Adrian and Kagami to London to protect them from Monarch, is the story that's being told. Which allows Adrian to just have to process the grief of his father and cry. And then he has the emotional outburst against Bug Noir, like, you could have saved him, why didn't you save him? And I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, H. Oh my goodness. Oh, I feel so bad for him. Oh, I kid you not, I was crying my eyes out at this scene. I was crying for him. Oh, but then, like, Bug Noir tries to comfort him, but she can't. He pushes her away because he's, one of the stages of grief is anger. So, that is the anger. That is his anger stage, and also bargaining. They do a really good job of going through the 5 stages of grief here. Denial. He's like, you must have missed something. It can't be true. And then anger, why didn't you do anything? You could have done something. Why didn't your ladybugs fix everything? And, oh my goodness. And then depression, he starts crying. And then, of course, the 5th stage is acceptance, but we're not going to get that till the very end of the special. He's still grieving, but, he's at least accepted what happened. And at least as Cat Noir, he's not yelling at Ladybug. But again, that's the very end of the special. We will get to it. I promise. So, you know, Bug Noir, she's sitting there tearing up. It kills her to see Adrian this miserable, but she knows that there's not much that she, as Bug Noir, as Ladybug, is able to do for him. And Kagami even, kind of is like, hey, you know, you should go. And it's like, yeah, because this is not Ladybug's position to comfort Adrian. But he at least has Kagami with him to comfort him in that moment. But so she then leaves and goes back to Paris, and she walks in. We saw this scene a bit in the trailer as well, but she walks in and her eyes are red. I don't know if it's like the lighting specifically, but her eyes are red. The girl was absolutely crying on her way back to Paris. But she comes back, she de-transforms and hugs Natalie, showing us that Natalie does know, again, foreshadowing for what's going to happen coming up, because at this point it's like, wait, Natalie knows. Which is what I was focusing on so much when in my trailer reaction, was that, oh my gosh, Natalie knows. Marinette de-transformed. Well, we didn't see that Marinette de-transformed. I was having a hard time seeing the ring, but it really only made sense for that to be the case. But no, in the special, we actually see her walk into the foyer where Natalie is looking at a picture of Gabriel and Adrian. Bug Noir walks in, de-transforms, and then Marinette hugs Natalie, and Natalie hugs her back. And Marinette just starts crying, and I'm like, oh, I love the eggs. I'm not gonna lie, guys. Don't let my don't let my constant talk about how much I was crying fool you. I love the angst. I love I love a show that can make me cry. Make me cry. And the special delivered. This scene was so emotionally charged. I absolutely loved it. And I will say, drama for the sake of drama is nothing without having the ability to be able to attach yourself to the characters. I think this show does a really good job of allowing you to attach yourself to the characters. We get so attached to them, and that's why this hits so hard, is because you've been following them for these 10 years and seeing everything that they've been through and seeing how much they've grown, and it hurts. It's a good hurt. It hurts so much. But then we get a clip of Bug Noir in front of the containment unit with the Kwamis already freed. She cataclysms it and destroys it. And then she destroys the container where Emily was. And even though you don't quite see it, for a brief, like, you don't get a lot of time to look at it, but for a brief second you can see that Emily is not in there. So that is confirmation that Emily did disappear with Gabriel. But then we get a scene of Ladybug telling her story again to the people of Paris, leaving out what she can, telling them her lie, and see, you could see how emotionally drained she is. The speech goes back and forth, like the scene goes back and forth between the speech and her cataclysming the entirety of the basement. Just everything is destroyed. And the entire scene, she has this blank expression on her face. She looks dead inside. And it makes sense. She has gone through so much emotion and turmoil in this day. It makes sense that she would just be drained. Again, she's a 14-year-old girl. She's 14. Guys, I know that a lot of this fandom likes to harsh on her, but she is a 14-year-old girl who is in desperate need of therapy before she got a Miraculous, and now definitely needs it. Oh my goodness. This poor girl. I feel bad for her. But we then finally cut to the train station. We at first see Natalie and Tomoe there to greet Adrian and Kagami as they get off the train. And then Adrian looks to the side and he sees Marinette, and they're happy to see each other. They hug and everything. And I will say, I'm already predicting there to be some shippers out there, hardcore Adrianette shippers that wanted them to kiss. I'm glad that they didn't, because this is not the time for kisses. This is very much not the time for kisses. This is a time for emotional support and for comfort. They are happy to see each other, but this is not the time for lovey-dovey kissy-kissy. It is the time for her to be there for him. And I'm glad that they kept it subtle. So she returns home, and the Kwamis are finally able to return to Marinette's room for the first time in months after being held prisoner in Gabriel's attic. And we see her looking at the rings, trying to figure out what to do, and she's just sad and questioning her choices. She manages to, she does call Alia. We don't really get to hear much of the conversation with her and Alia, but we do find out later that she did not tell Alia the truth. She only told Alia what Ladybug told the world. That Gabriel became a hero, and that he sacrificed himself to make a wish to stop Monarch and to save Natalie. And that was it. That was all they could do. And so yeah, we see Marinette writing in her journal. She's processing. She writes her. I will say that I do think it's a good thing for her to write in her journal, because it's a good way of processing when you go through a traumatic experience like this. A good way to process it. It helps to process, to think about what happened, and give yourself time to just process your emotions. Sometimes journaling can be a huge help with that. So I'm glad that she did pull out her notebook. She very much needs a therapist, but the only person who can provide that for her right now would be Natalie. Natalie's the only person who could actually provide her therapy, honestly, and Natalie doesn't really have a degree, at least that we know of, in psychology. Maybe Natalie could dabble. At the very least, Natalie is someone that Marinette can 100% confide in and tell her everything to, because Natalie already knows. She knows that Marinette is Ladybug. She doesn't know that Adrian is Cat Noir, but she knows that Marinette is Ladybug. She knows that Alia is Reina Rouge, Nino is Carapace. She knows the identities of everyone who was in Miracle Queen. So she knows a lot. Natalie now knows, I think, more than Alia, because I don't think Alia knows everybody's identities. I know that Alia knows Nino's identity and Marinette's, but they never really specify if she knows anyone else's identities. So, yeah, Marinette basically can only confide in Natalie now, as far as this is concerned. So hopefully Natalie will be able to help her with that. She goes back home, and Plag is still with her, and Tiki, kind of cryptic in this moment, and it's another moment of great foreshadowing. Marinette asks them if they think that she did the right thing lying to Adrian, and they don't really know what to say to her. It's like, we can't really say if that was the right thing or not. You know, neither of us the Kwame of truth, which is like, is there a Kwame of truth? Can we see the Kwame of truth? Is that a hint towards the next special? Possibly? We'll see. Uh, but yeah, Marinette is the girl has circles under her eyes, and I noticed this in the trailer as well. She has dark circles. Girl has bags under her eyes. It has been a long day for her. Oh my goodness. The girl has gone through so much emotional turmoil. But then she wakes up the next morning, and we finally see what Bunnick saw. Her realizing that there's a strange light outside, and that the ring and her earrings are both gone. And then Bunnix reaches through the burrow and pulls her into the burrow. And we get some fun moments here where Bunnix basically tells Marinette everything that happened. Something's going on with history. It erased the two future Bunnixes, and now they've got to figure out what exactly happened so that they can fix it. And I'm not sure if this is what causes the Chronobug design or not, but Bunnix gives Marinette a safety jacket so that they can differentiate between her and all the other Marinettes that we're going to see. Though we don't really see a whole lot that would cause any confusion, so I guess it's more for them than the audience, because we really don't see anything that could have caused the confusion. Maybe they were worried about children, but I do think that this is more for their sake, because they don't know exactly what they're going to go through, and also B, for the sake of the costume, which again, I said before, I really like the costume. I didn't notice before that the spots were white. I think I might have noticed it, but I thought maybe they would be glowing, but they are actually reflective, like the reflective tape on a safety vest. So I do think that's kind of cool that the costume for Chronobug is basically just taking its colors from the safety vest that she's wearing. I also really like how the pattern on the costume is different from any other Ladybug costume that we've got before. Because she is just transformed with the Ladybug Miraculous, but I am getting ahead of myself. So basically, Bunnix recaps Marinette and says, hey, we got to figure out what exactly caused this change in history. And Marinette realizes, oh, well, I can't really do anything without my earrings, but there was a moment in time where I renounced my earrings, and I honestly forgot for a moment. Like, I was trying to figure out, where are they gonna go? Because there have been times where she took the earrings off, and I'm trying to think, was it maybe Kwame's choice that she's talking about? No, it's the origin special. Mind blown. That was brilliant. I thought, oh my gosh, that was so brilliant. I do not believe for one moment that they had this planned out from season 1, but I do think that this is a brilliant use of continuity, because if you recall, in the origin special, in the Stoneheart episode, Marinette was freaked out, naturally so, over, everything that just happened with her becoming Ladybug and having to fight and everything. So she takes off the earrings, especially, it was also because the fact that she did mess up with Stoneheart, and she's like, see, I'm a disaster. I'm just going to make things worse for everybody, for Cat Noir, for Paris. It's better that you find another Ladybug. She takes the earrings off and she puts the box in the drawer. And that was in the original. And now we get to see a slight continuation of that, with her being called out of the room to go and eat breakfast. And we see present day Marinette reach through and grab the earring. And that, I just remembered, I didn't actually say what Tiki said that was so cryptic. When Marinette was in her room and like all depressed and everything, Tiki told her, get some rest, you're going to need it. And then afterwards she's like, you're really gonna need it. And I'm like, wait, oh my gosh, that's what Tiki meant. That's what she meant. When she told Marinette she was really going to need her rest, she meant for this. Because she remembers from all the way back then, back in Stonehearts, or no, that was I think that was Ladybug and Cat Noir was the name of the episode. She remembers all the way back from Ladybug and Cat Noir that Marinette would eventually go on this journey. That Tiki from season 1 is here. And she gets to see the Ladybug that Marinette will eventually become. And I just think that's brilliant. That's awesome. Which also is like, you know, Tiki constantly saying, you know, I believe in you. Tiki's support of Marinette wasn't just her being supportive, it's that she knows Marinette is going to succeed. She, as Chronobug, you know, she remembers everything that happens as Chronobug. So she knows everything that happens here. And I think that's really cool. Although I imagine some people will probably nitpick and be like, oh, well, you know, she wasn't actually supporting Marinette. She was just saying that she knows it's going to happen. Some people like to be really negative when they review this show. Like, just have fun with it. You know, we're here to have fun. You know, yes, we are here to overanalyze everything, but we're also here to have fun. It's no fun if you nitpick everything. But anyways, she then transforms into Chronobug, and again, I really love the reflective spots. The whole costume is rather reflective, but like the spots especially. I love this costume. It's really fun. Actually, no, I think it is the same Lucky Charm design. Now that I'm looking at it more, I think it is the same design. It's just I don't normally see it through the transformation sequence. I think that's what threw me off initially, but yeah, I think it is actually the same one. I've drawn it enough times. I've drawn Monsieur Bug enough times. So they go back and they realize that while Marinette was sleeping, the Eries were gone. And then they continue to scroll backwards and they see Ghost coming out. And they, you know, continue watching, see Ghost going through and, you know, searching for the Miraculous. And then they find Marinette. So they then steal the Miraculous, and Marinette and Bunnix, I just called her Alex. Alex still works. But they realize, hey, okay, so they figured out who I am, but how? How did they figure that out? So they, you know, fast forward a little bit. Well, no, I think they rewound a little bit, but they continue searching through. Oh, wait, actually, no, that's not what happens next. So they talk about how they can't stop her because Ladybug tries to go in there and try to fight off Ghost, but she can't touch them. So she goes back in again, trying to fight them, summons her Lucky Charm. She gets a calendar. She manages to follow them, but unfortunately, they get away, and that's when she realizes, oh, wait, something's not right here. They clearly found out somehow that I am Ladybug, so I gotta figure out how they found out that I was Ladybug, and that's how we stop them. So then they go, they rewind their little viewing thing in the burrow a little bit more to see that they were, you know, as we saw in the trailer, actually spying on Bug Noir and Gabriel, and managed to figure out her identity after she de-transformed while talking him down. And that's when they write down in their little notebook that Marinette is Ladybug. So they go back and they manage to stop her. This part goes a little bit fast. We get to relive this sequence a little bit again with Marinette, you know, talking down Gabriel and everything. But I'm going to try to skip the stuff that was in season 5, unless it's relevant. Uh, but yeah, she goes back again, and so Chronobug goes back and manages to chase off. Uh, I don't know if there's a name for the other for Cerise in her time travel power. So I'm just gonna say Cerise. Actually no, you know what? I'm gonna call them Chronos. I don't think there is an official name for them, so I'm just gonna call them Chronos. And I apologize if there actually is a name that I don't know. I don't know. But I'm just gonna refer to them as Chronos from now on, because time. So Chronobug manages to chase off Chronos, but they realize that time still isn't going back. So it's like, okay, well, clearly they haven't given up. So there might be another moment when Chronos finds out that Marinette is Ladybug. So Chronobug thinks, and she realizes, okay, there's another moment where it could have possibly happened. So she goes back, and we finally get another scene, and this is a scene that explains a lot of the foreshadowing that I've mentioned up until now, where they talk about, what happened. So this is literally right after the wish is made, and Natalie comes down with using her crossbow and finds Marinette down there, and she's like all prepared to attack Gabriel, but Gabriel is no longer there. Marinette, thinking that Natalie's there to attack her, transforms back into back into Bug Noir, and they manage to and then they talk, and Natalie says, look, I'm not here to fight you, I was here to stop Gabriel. And Marinette then tells Natalie what exactly happened with Gabriel's wish and everything, and they realize, yeah, Gabriel's wish was also meant to heal Natalie so that at least somebody would be around to take care of Adrian. And they talk a little bit more, and then they go up to the attic and see that the Kwamis are there. I'm trying to also fast forward through the video as well. So yeah, they hug, they talk, and then Natalie takes Bug Noir up to the attic, with also, Chronobug having some more realizations. I'm just gonna skip over that stuff because that's not really too relevant. It's just more conversations. But Natalie takes Chronobug up to the attic, and she's like, oh my gosh, the Kwamis, can you free them, Natalie? And Natalie's like, yes, I can free them. And we finally get to have the reunion, and it's one of the reasons why I'm really glad this special exists, because we get to see the Kwamis get to finally have their happy ending at the very least. They hug Bug Noir. She uses her miraculous Bug Noir to fix everything, as well as to heal everybody, including Adrian and Kagami. And then Adrian, I kind of forgot that he was wearing an alliance when I was watching this the first time. Looking back at it now, I realized, oh yeah, that was the alliance. But he rips the alliance off his ring, tosses it down at the ground, and then starts demanding for his father to let him out. Your dad's dead, Adrian. I'm sorry. I know. I know that the faces are a bit basic on this. I'm sorry. Right now it only does smile and surprise, and it's supposed to do anger, but for some reason doesn't want to register when my eyebrows are down. Anyways, but yeah, so they talk some more about, what they're going to do, and, Bug Noir asks, I'm just gonna call her Marinette. Marinette asks Natalie if, Adrian knew, and Natalie's like, no, he didn't know, but does Adrian know that you're a ladybug? And she says, well, she wanted to tell him. I am kind of glad that she had this thought at the very least, that she wanted to tell Adrian the truth, more duality between her and Adrian, because Adrian wanted to tell Marinette, and yes, please, because she really wanted to tell Adrian the truth once they defeated Monarch, but now is unable to tell him the truth because she has to protect this secret from him. And yeah, I think that's understandable, especially later on. Well, later on for her, but earlier for us, when she has to tell Adrian what the public version of what happened, and he's mad at her because why didn't you save him? And it's like, yeah, I can understand that. Again, more drama for season 6. If you are upset that Adrian does not know Marinette's identity or his father's, just be patient, you know? They probably were going to have that reveal in season 5, but then after getting greenlit for more seasons, they have to keep the show going. Like, they've already given us Adrianette canon. They gotta give us something more to look forward to, okay? Come on, be reasonable. But anyways, so Kronos is watching them and overhears Marinette say that, Adrian can't hear from Marinette what only Ladybug would know. And that's where Kronos is like, oh, Marinette is Ladybug. So they try to get Kronos back through the burrow before she has the chance to hear Bug Noir say that. But unfortunately, they're not able to get her back the first time. And I kind of like this moment because we have a scene of them trying to get Kronos and failing. And then we have another scene where they go back further and succeed in getting Kronos. And I do like that because, like, it shows that, not all of her plans are perfect the first time. Again, she's not a Mary Sue. If she was a Mary Sue, it would have worked the first time. She does fail. She tries and tries again, but she does fail. And she did fail here. But then, because of the power of time travel, they were able to try again and succeed. And then we get another bit of payoff for some of the earlier foreshadowing that we got with all of the boxes and devices that are in the lair. So Kronos ends up going back and grabbing another watch after Ladybug destroyed the first watch, and then writes it down in her notebook that that Natalie at least said, what the motives were, that Adrian did not know any of this. So Kronos at least knows that, was able to write that down. But things still aren't fixed because Kronos is still willing to travel more. And so they continue watching backwards, and we finally get a flashback to something that happened in this special. We flashback, well, not really flashback, they look back and they see the moment where Bug Noir does go back. Oh, but before that, we also get this really sweet moment of Marinette once again questioning herself and whether or not she made the right choice. And I really like what Natalie said here. I do feel like a lot of this special does address a lot of the criticism that people had. And I don't think this is specifically being made to counteract the criticisms, because animation and storytelling takes a long time to create. They already had this planned out long before we saw the season 5 finale. This was already in the works, so they already knew that they were going to have this conversation. So I know that it's going to be really tempting for a lot of people to say, oh, well, they're just trying to retcon it so that we'll like Marinette and not hate her, and they're trying to make us like the season 5 finale. Guys, it takes a long time to do this. Trust me when I say that none of the criticism that was brought up about the season 5 finale was going to affect this special. The special would have been in the works long before season 5 came out. At the very least with the writing and everything. So, yeah, but I do like that it's, you know, even unplanned, it still addresses a lot of the criticism that people had, like, because a lot of people were thinking that she was making the wrong choice here. And I do like that they're addressing that here, that, you know, Marinette herself doesn't believe she made the right choice. It was a very difficult choice for her to make. And nobody can tell her that she made the wrong choice, but no one can tell her she made the right choice either. And Natalie makes a very good point here that, you know, it's hard to know what the consequences of our actions are. No matter what choice you made, there would have been consequences to face. And that is what I was saying when in my 3 videos that I made after the season 5 finale, that there really was no good option for her. This was the best case scenario. It's not a good scenario by any means, but it's the best case. It's a scenario where Adrian only has to mourn his father's death and doesn't have to mourn his father's death while also having to come to terms with the fact that his father was an evil villain that caused pain and suffering for all the people of Paris, himself included, and made him suffer on just as a parent, making your own child suffer in the name of, well, you're going to be happy when all this is over anyway, so your happiness later, that's going to erase all your suffering right now. That is such a toxic parental mindset that sadly, very, very unfortunately, there are parents out there that have that mindset, and it is really sad. And like, I pray for the children who have parents like that. It does not make anything that Gabriel did okay. Nothing that he did is okay. But Adrian is already suffering enough finding out that only a year and a half after his mother's death or disappearance, now his father is dead, and he has his only family now are his cousin and aunts. They're his only living blood relatives, with Natalie being the only one who could become his legal guardian without him having to go to London and live there with his aunt and cousin. Like, Adrian, you see it in this special, just how much Adrian is going through, just in this scenario. Just with the sugariest of sugarcoats that she could possibly have put on it. And there would have been consequences if she told him the truth as well. I really don't think his mental state could have handled it. I really don't. But, you know, it's not is this the right decision? It's, what's the best bad decision we can make? Because there is no good decision to make here. So what is the least damaging decision that we can make? And I really like that Natalie brought that up and, you know, explained that, you know, there was no good solution. Even when she was talking to Marinette in the basement, she's like, well, what would you have done? And it's like, you know, we could have come up with a plan, come up with a solution. She's like, well, what would you have done? I could have made the wish myself. And do what? What would you have wished for? I could have been the sacrifice. No. That would have also made Adrian miserable, because now the girl he loves is gone. Both of the girls that he loves would be gone. Not just Marinette, but also Ladybug. Yes, his feelings for Ladybug have softened, and he is, more focused on Marinette and his feelings for her. But he would have lost both of them. The two girls that he 100% fell head over heels in love with would be gone. And he would still have to deal with the fact that his father was monarch and did all of those things to hurt him. Or, well, not to hurt him, but still did all of those things under the guise of, well, you're gonna hurt now, but you'll feel better later. No. I agree with Natalie. This is far better than the alternative. And it was a really hard scene to watch. Just her she's going through her own 5 stages of grief. She's just constantly in denial and also trying to bargain. Like, what if I did this? What if I did that? That's bargaining. That is bargaining right there. And this whole thing, we see Marinette's grief throughout this whole special, and it is hard to watch. Fortunately, Buttocks is at least there to comfort her and tell her, there's really not much more you could have done. But we have to focus on the here and now and fix what is happening right now. Sorry, I almost skipped over that, and I really didn't want to skip because it's such an important thing. So they fast forward again to Bug Noir in London, and that's when Chronobug realizes that, hey, wait a minute. The lights turned off when I walked out of the room, but they were already on when I entered. Which tells us that that Ghost was already there and was invisible. Ghost was stalking her at that moment, and that was the third opportunity for Ghost to find out Marinette's identity, was from overhearing the conversation between Kagami and Bug Noir, where they address the fact that she is Marinette. And then Ghost writes it down in her notebook to go back. And that's the thing. They're going back, Ghost's plan is to find out Marinette's identity, write it in the book, and then after detransforming herself and forgetting, she has that notebook to tell her. Which I will say that is something that I am questioning. I do have a theory that explains it, but the special doesn't quite make it clear because they don't really address it. But the thing that caught my attention is that Gabriel has also akumatized himself. And he seemed to remember what happened. He never once seems to complain about, like, missing memories or anything. He's just like, oh, I have this. I don't think it's a big deal, because they also don't really, in those few moments, we don't see him immediately discuss things that happen. The only thing that's discussed is something that happened after he was detransformed, aka receiving the what's it called? It's been so long. The magic charm that he used to figure out how to break through the magic charms. But that happened after he detransformed. So technically, even though it was never acknowledged that he, quote-unquote, forgot what happened while he was Collector or Night Tormentor, we also don't acknowledge him remembering. So technically, it's not a retcon. It's it was just never explained to us before if he did remember or not. I guess another way to look at it, though, would be based on, like, when Nino and Alia rejected, because Nino doesn't really seem to question what exactly happened afterwards. He just knows that he rejected the Akuma. I don't know, and same for Alia. She doesn't really question the fact that Ladybug is there. Ladybug is just like, oh my gosh, Alia, you rejected the Akuma. No one's ever done that before. Chloe, but Chloe rejected it while she was being akumatized. Yeah, there's a whole debate about that as well. But anyways, focusing on this special, and this whole thing right here, it's never addressed if they forgot everything. Like, you could still explain that as, Alia talking afterwards of that, saying where the Akuma is, because, that was before they got akumatized. Alex is the one who had it. But she also still kind of talks like she remembers what happened after getting akumatized. I don't know if that's gonna be different or not. Maybe memories are like just fuzzy or something. That I'm still not 100% sold on even my explanation, so I will acknowledge that it is a little bit of a plot hole. It's still not contradicting anything. Like, it's not contradicting anything that was 100% confirmed, but it's not. You know what I mean. It's the gray area. It's a gray plot hole. Like, it's like a pinhole. It's a plot pinhole, okay? It's teeny tiny. It's very small. It only really becomes a plot hole when you really think super hard about it, which is kind of what we're here to do. And I do already predict people calling it a plot hole. I'm not going to argue if it's a plot hole or not, because I can't argue the fact that there's still a little... They're really stretching the continuity. I'm going to call it a stretch. It's a stretch of continuity. But anyways, so regardless, that's the plan. And Chronobug, has to, she tries to take the notebook. She fails, but then she tries again. Like, she can't stop Kronos from overhearing that Bug Noir is Marinette and writing it in her notebook, but she is able to come up with a plan to trick Kronos. And I do really like this plan. So she gets a bottle of hand sanitizer. Someone on the internet, please explain if this actually does work or not, if there's like some real science behind this. But her plan is to get some stuff from her room using a pen, a Q-tip, and the alcohol-based hand sanitizer to basically erase her name from the notebook. So she goes back and she basically, so what she does is she goes back, she knocks the notebook out of Kronos' hand, does a flip behind her, goes through the burrow, and then brings it back to the burrow, where she finds the entry that says Ladybug equals Marinette du Pen Chang. And then she uses the alcohol ink to basically remove the ink from the from the paper. Again, I don't know if this is actually how that works or not. I would at least think that there would be like some smudges, and that it would also erase some of the stuff that's like on the other page, like on the other side of the page. So that I will say is a little bit, that I'll say is also a bit eye-raising, but maybe that's just how things work in this universe. I will admit, like I said, I will call the show out when it needs to be called out, but I also try to be positive and not be super negative about it. I don't think it's particularly a bad plan, but there are some nitpicks to be had with it. So, but regardless, she manages to erase her name off of the page, and then somehow manages to forge Kronos's handwriting to write in another name there, which we don't see till later. But I'll just go. Well, yeah, I'll say that. Oh, no, that is right after. So yeah, they do let her go. And then Kronos finally, puts the watch away. And we actually do I kind of like that they didn't go for the Rule 3. There are 3 boxes with watches there. And, I've talked about the smoking gun trope in the past. You have this smoking gun, and it's smoking for a reason because it needs to go off. But the fact that there are 3 watches here, just the fact that there are multiples of these watches, that is the smoking gun. But I do kind of like that she didn't use all 3 of them. She only used 2. There was the initial one that Ladybug stole and broke, thinking the Akuma was in there, which was set so that if that watch got touched, then something on the phone would go off and then bring Ghost back to the present. So, or no, not Ghost, would bring Kronos back to the present, and then Kronos could swap out for another watch, which we only see her do once, but we only need to see her do it once because that shows that she does have a plan for if she gets caught, and it's really smart, really clever. And Chronobug even tells her, you're different from the old Hawk Moth. You're actually kind of clever, but I'm better. And that taunting, I really like that taunting session, I'm not gonna lie. I grin with that. Yeah, she has 3 of them. I do like that there's an extra one that she didn't need, but she had it just in case. Which plays into what Bunnix said before about how they could keep going at this forever and ever, but they needed to figure something else out, which is when Chronobug had her plan. And so Kronos goes back to the present, de-transforms, and then that's where we get like we get to see her again with the blonde hair and a bun and everything. And Nuru is just begging her not to read the notebook. And her face when she opens up the notebook and sees Gabriel Agreste. Ladybug is Gabriel Agreste. And I'm actually just now realizing how full circle that is. Because in the episode where Lila got akumatized with the power that she could turn anything she said into reality, she created an illusion for people to think that Marinette was Monarch. And that's so funny to me. Oh my goodness. I can't believe I didn't even think about that. I don't know if that was intentional or not, but I love how full circle that is. She tried to make everyone think that Ladybug was Monarch. And now Marinette is making Lila, aka Cerise, think that Ladybug is Gabriel Agreste. I love that. Oh my gosh, that just hit me. That's so funny. I love that. I actually love that. But then Cerise gets angry. Nuru is ecstatic and celebrating. Yay, the plan didn't work. Cerise is just raging at that point. She tossed the notebook, trashes her lair, and poor Nuru, they're celebrating while Cerise is freaking out, and then, oh my gosh, she acts even crueler than Gabriel here, because she snaps her fingers and just freezes poor Nuru. Poor Nuru. Oh my goodness. Poor baby. But anyways, Bunnix is still freaking out, but in the burrow, and then all of a sudden, all the timelines just start to reappear, and then Future and Granny Bunnix are there behind them, and they get to celebrate. They do their pound-it between Chronobug and Bunnix, and Chronobug once again questions herself. It's like, listen, I know you guys can't tell me what's coming, but can you at least tell me if I made the right decision? And once again, they tell her, look, there would have been consequences no matter what, but only you get to, like, you have to live with the choices that you make and make the best of what you have. Unfortunately, though, we do also get some bad news in this scene, where they realize that because there is a new Hawk Moth now, Alex still can't come back. She is still gonna have to be stuck in the burrow, unfortunately, and just be Bunnix and be the protector of time. And it really is sad, especially when you really stop and think about the fact that Granny Bunnix is there too. So, like, the fact that they spend so much time in the burrow, are they ever gonna be able to go back home? And it's like, my gosh, I really hope that she is one day able to come back home. Like, oh my goodness. Please let her come back home and reunite with her father and brother. But anyways, that is really sad thing to think about. But Ladybug, Chronobug does go back without Bunnix, who's at least, she's okay with it. She is disappointed, but she's okay with it, and she points out what Ladybug's superpower really is, saying that it's not her powers that make her a hero. Her true power isn't her lucky charm, it's her brain. And it really is, because her powers would mean nothing without her brain to help her figure out how to use them. And I do really like that about Ladybug. Yes, her powers can be a bit Deus Ex Machina, but she herself still has to figure out how to use them. And I do really like that. It's not a lucky charm, oh, this will fix the solution, bam, everything's fixed. She has to figure it out, and I do like that. But anyways, Marinette then wakes up in her bedroom. Timeline's fixed, and she's celebrating. And she grabs Tiki and Flag, like, oh my gosh, it worked, everything's fine. Flag is so confused. He's like, what are you talking about? And Tiki's like, I know. She hugs all. It's like, because she was there. She experienced it. It's been a year for her, but she still remembers what happened. And I love that. We then get a scene of Marinette once more making the decision to reconfigure the Miraculous back to normal, but she also drops a little hint that she's not just going to make them the exact same they were before, she's going to add some new stuff, which I love, because that means that we could be seeing new powers in Season 6 for the other holders. Hopefully we can see something new for Cat Noir as well. My boy needs the boost. Don't just power up everybody except Cat Noir, please. But I'm really excited for Season 6. Now, this special was great, and I think that they did the right thing by waiting until it was close to time for Season 6 to start airing, because this was a great recap of the series so far, of what happened in the finale, a great way to address what happened, to give us more context about what happened, and just to give us one final go around with these old designs and this old art style. And I am so excited to see what happens next. We get one last scene of Ladybug. She's finally back to her Ladybug outfit. This will be the final time we see this costume. And Cat Noir meets up with her on the roof, and he still sounds so heartbroken, which makes sense. He's still dealing with the loss of his father, and Ladybug is also still really depressed. because the weight of what's just happened is still on her. It's still extremely heavy, and she can't even tell Cat Noir because, again, the best kept secrets are the ones you keep to yourself. And I will accept that she's not telling Cat Noir because she's not telling Alia. She even acknowledged to Bunnix that she lied to Alia about what happened. So even though we didn't hear the conversation, we do know that she did not tell Alia everything that happened. She told Alia the same story she told everyone else. So as far as Cat Noir is concerned, that's what happened. Not even Alia knows. I imagine not even Master Suhan or Luca will find out. The only ones who know are Marinette, Natalie, and Kagami. They're the only ones who know the full story, with Tomoe knowing everything except for what happened at Gabriel's house and who Ladybug is. But we did also see that Cerise does know that Tomoe... Well, I guess she would have already known, or at least had her suspicions. But she does have more information about what happened. But then we get another scene. We see her put the Butterfly Miraculous on, and then we get a flash forward of 2 years, and we get to see the new models and animations. And, like, I gotta say, I'm looking at it right now, it looks good. It looks really good. And then we also get to see that leak that came out last year of Marinette's new design. Her face is covered, so we don't quite get a good look at the new art style, but it is in the new style. You can see the extra detailing in her side hairs. So it is definitely in the new style and everything, which makes sense because they would have had to create a whole new model for Marinette's new design in the current style. And I do also really like that they added that there. It's very seamless if you're not looking for it, because most people who aren't keeping up with, you know, the behind the scenes part of the fandom aren't gonna already know that there's going to be a new art style starting season 6. So it's not super jarring because you don't see her new face. And that's really where the differences are become apparent, is in the facial structures. Which I said before, I do like the new style. I do like the new designs. I do wish we could have kept the old style, but the style is also 10 years old, and it's nowhere near as drastic as some of the other shows that I have watched and still loved that changed the art style. Looking at you, American Dragon and Ben 10. I still liked those shows after they changed the art styles. The art style is not the deciding factor for what makes something good. It's the story, the writing. Yes, there's going to be an adjustment period, but I do kind of like how it's a mix between seasons 1 through 5 and also the movie. I thought the movie was a bit too much of a difference, but I do like how this is a nice in between. And it's also a good medium for people who only saw the movie to go through and watch this. In fact, I think the people who only saw the movie could also watch this special to get caught up. If you only saw the movie, you could just watch this special to see this. You know, there's going to be some slight differences, but then you get caught up on, you know, the slight variances between the movie and the show, and can go into season 6 still having a good grasp of what happened. So I like that, and I do think this special was really necessary for that reason, because there are a lot of people that went into the movie having never seen the show before. Again, the show is 10 years old at this point. a lot of the original fandom are now adults. So when you have a show like this that goes on for so long, you do have to do that refresh for the newer audiences. And I am glad that they are honoring what came before while also embracing their newer audience. So I am really glad that they found a good middle ground for that. So yeah, that's the special. Uh, I apologize that this was so long. I even had to break up the recording, and yeah, it's long. I know, I'm sorry. But I kind of had a feeling that this would be long, which is why I did want to have this artwork up. I planned this piece the moment I started working on the recording and the drawings, that this was going to be the piece for either the special or the season 1 finale. And my avatar's expressions are going crazy. Oh my goodness. I need to do some more fine tuning on that. I do apologize. But yeah, I hope you all are just as excited as me for this new chapter in the Miraculous Ladybug and Cat Noir story. So, with that out of the way, thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed this video, then be sure to leave a like, comment down below, and subscribe for more videos from me. We do all sorts of fun stuff on this channel, including playing video games, we do art, and also sometimes talk about cartoons and anime. So if you enjoy this stuff, then be sure to ring the bell icon and never miss a video. Thank you guys for watching, and as always, I hope you all have a very magical day.